Before I begin this video, I got a couple questions for you. First off, do you like this jersey? Okay, I'm going to ask you another one. Now, ignore this Flyers jersey for just a moment here. Now, do you like this jersey right here? Yep, this old Toronto Maple Leafs throwback. Well, if you like at least one of the two jerseys between the Leafs and the Penguins jersey I'm showing you now, well, I've got some news for you. According to the rumor mill, in the 2016-17 season, you will be seeing this Penguins throwback and something probably very close to this throwback you can see here a little bit more often. And with that, for the past couple of videos, I've been talking about the World Cup of Hockey jerseys unveiled by Adidas recently. And now we finally have some information that is enough to make a video talking about the 2016-17 jersey changes and what we know so far. So what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to quickly talk about the teams getting new home and road jerseys, and then I'm going to make my way down to new third jerseys, and then I'm going to talk about special event jerseys, because 2016-17 season is the NHL's 100th anniversary. So I can assure all of you viewers out there that, guess what? There will be a hell of a lot of special jerseys. Now, let's start with this Penguins jersey here. According to the rumor mill, the Pittsburgh Penguins are bringing the white version of this jersey back, and they are going back to this full-time, and finally, after almost 10 years, the Pittsburgh Penguins are finally getting rid of their hideous Vegas gold Reebok Edge jerseys. Or should I say practice jerseys? I mean, those things, they're horrible. It's about damn time. I mean, look at this jersey. It's a classic. It's about damn time. And if anyone's thinking that they're not going back to their retro jerseys, they recently unveiled their 50th anniversary logo. And guess what? This yellow or Pittsburgh gold colored version of their logo is the logo that is on the 50th anniversary logo. And also, for some of the playoff promotion photos where they're showing the Penguins saying, hey, the Pittsburgh Penguins clinched a playoff spot, they're not wearing their black and white jerseys with the Vegas gold on them. The pictures have the Penguins in their throwback jersey. And on top of that, for a lot of charity events in the past few months, the Penguins haven't been taking pictures of their players wearing their current home and road jerseys. They've all been wearing the throwback jersey. So if you haven't heard it already and it hasn't been confirmed yet, which truth is, as of this video, it hasn't, you heard it from me first. The Penguins are going retro, and I couldn't be happier. Plus, Pittsburgh just announced that this jersey you can see right here is the jersey they will be wearing as their home jersey for the entirety of the 2015-16 playoffs. I mean, if that's not enough evidence to say, hey, Pittsburgh's going back to their 91-92 look, I don't know what is. Now, let's talk about the second team that is surprisingly getting new home and road jerseys next year. The Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, seriously, this is about time in my opinion. I mean, I know that their current uniforms are liked by a lot of people, but I think they're heavily overrated. And here's why. I think they're boring. I mean, their current logo, it isn't a bad logo. I don't want to say that their current logo is a bad logo, because I totally agree with people that it's not a bad logo. But the thing is, I look at the other 5 original 6 teams, I look at their logos, I look at their jerseys, and honestly, they have such a nice vintage charm to them. Where the Toronto Maple Leafs' current home and road uniforms, they just don't do that for me. And they've worn them since 1992. I mean, they've worn them for close to 25 years now. I mean, that's a long time. And the thing is, I've seen Toronto's throwback jerseys that they've worn over the years, and I've liked every single one of them better than their current home and road jerseys now. And as for their third jersey, it's a step up from their home jersey in my opinion, but I don't love it. And if the rumors are correct, I think that the Leafs will go with something similar to this jersey you see here. Now, what I also want to do here real quick is I want to show you guys Toronto's new logo. But this is Toronto's new logo. I mean, they took the logo on that jersey I just showed you here on this video, and what they've done is they've improved it, they've made it 10 times better, and as far as I'm concerned, even though they haven't had this logo on a jersey yet, this is already the greatest logo in my opinion that Toronto's ever had. I think it's awesome, and I cannot wait to see this on their new jerseys. And with it being the 100th anniversary of the NHL, as well as the 100th anniversary of the Toronto Maple Leafs franchise, which began in 1917 as the Toronto Arenas, well, I must say, with this logo, I would assume that they're going to have very nice vintage looking original 6 jerseys, and they are finally going to be joining alongside the rest of the original 6 teams with beautiful uniforms. And honestly, I cannot wait. So another thing that I want to mention about Toronto as well is that I've heard that it could be as simple as Toronto swapping logos off of their main jerseys right now, but honestly, I do not think that's going to happen, and I would be very surprised if that was all they did. And the truth is, I would be disappointed. I mean, I think their white jersey, I think if they put the new logo on this jersey here, I think it would look really, really nice. But also, speaking of Toronto, they're planning on wearing as many as 5 different throwback jerseys, including a Toronto St. Pat's jersey, which I hear will be worn for St. Patrick's Day or games or close to St. Patrick's Day every year going forward, starting next season, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I also hear there could be a 1970s Maple Leafs throwback. Also, they might be bringing back their Winter Classic jersey. I think that's a beautiful jersey, and it should be their 3rd jersey down the road. And as for the other 2, I think a Toronto Arenas throwback and something else from their past. I'm not quite sure what that would be, but maybe the white version of their 1967 throwback they're wearing now. Or maybe the 67 throwback they're wearing already as a 3rd jersey. That might be one of the 5. Anyways, until the Maple Leafs make that announcement, I do not know for sure. But all I know is that they've already unveiled their new logo, and they're getting new jerseys next season. Now, another team that I want to talk about that's getting new home and road uniforms is the Florida Panthers. And they've been around since 1993. And for the first time in that franchise's history, they're not only getting completely new jerseys that are very different from anything they've ever worn, they're also getting their first logo change in franchise history. Now, I'm going to miss their current logo, but if the rumor mill is correct, there's a chance that their new logo may even be better than the one they've had since 1993. And so supposedly the rumor is that the new logo is based off of the Airborne 101st Regiment of the United States Army. Now, the plan, according to what I've heard and what I've read on the internet, is that instead of a bald eagle, as you can see here, there will be a more natural looking panther head in its place. And where it says Airborne here, it'll say Florida on the road jersey, and as for their new upcoming home jersey, I hear that it'll say Panthers above the logo. So if that's what the logo will be, doesn't sound too bad, but I'd have to see it before I can make a judgment as to whether I like the new logo or their original better. And according to rumors, the Panthers' new uniforms will be kind of inspired by the Montreal Canadiens and the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, the thing is, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes have kind of gone the original six route with their uniforms, and unfortunately, the truth is they've kind of backfired. They just don't have that same uniqueness that they used to have, and it's kind of unfortunate. But the good news is, thanks to some very reliable and very credible sources that are supposedly in the know about Florida's new jerseys, not only are there some very good mock-ups on the internet that are so good that even some of the most credible sources that know about Florida's new jerseys actually have said that they're very, very close to the real thing. Now, what I've also done, especially for this video, is I've created a couple of my own mock-ups. And before I share them, for those of you who've seen my NHL Goalhorns Could Be Better video, here's a little trip down memory lane. Anyways, little irrelevant trip down memory lane aside, here are the two mock-ups that I've done here. Let's start with the white one. As you can see here, it's got no waist stripes, according to the rumors. It's got a main red stripe around the center of the jersey, Montreal Canadiens style, with two smaller gold stripes surrounding it, with a navy blue crest. And on the shoulders is supposedly a Florida State flag logo that is kind of that's stylized. I'm not sure how that'll work, but I'm gonna really miss the sun, palm tree, and hockey stick, the shoulder logo that they've had since the first time they've ever stepped on the ice. Now, also, here's the red version of my mock-ups anyway, where it has a main white stripe with two smaller gold stripes surrounding it. And also note the lace-up collars, at least that's what the rumors have said, and a navy blue Airborne 101st Regiment inspired crest. So, I mean, my mock-ups are very, they're very basic. I mean, I apologize because I'm a terrible artist. I mean, if you couldn't tell already. Sorry, guys. But according to the rumors that have surfaced, these are supposedly very accurate in a lot of ways, but until the real things are unveiled, I'm sure there's quite a few things about the actual new jerseys and new uniforms that I've probably missed that nobody knows about yet. And until those are unveiled, there's a 99.9% chance that I'm wrong on at least one detail. Remember, these are just basic mock-ups that I've done just for the purpose of this video. Now, also note that supposedly down the road, Florida's also considering a 1993 throwback third jersey. But with Adidas getting ready to take over the NHL, and with what they did for the 2016 World Cup jerseys, I don't know. I kind of think Adidas is going to try and push some innovative third jersey on these guys and tell them to screw the throwback. But who knows? A lot of teams are now starting to have a third jersey and a throwback, and I kind of think that's what we'll get with Florida. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to show you the Flyers here. Speaking of teams with an orange jersey, the Edmonton Oilers unveiled a special WHA throwback this season to commemorate their last season at Rexall Place, formerly known as the Northlands Coliseum, where they have had quite a history there. I don't even need to get started. If you hear Edmonton Oilers, you know about their dynasty, and you know about Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Grant Fuhr, Paul Coffey, Craig McTavish. Holy cow, that team was stacked. And people think the Blackhawks are amazing. My God. Anyways, speaking of orange jerseys, Edmonton's WHA throwback, as Don Cherry would say, it's a beauty. And it has been so popular in Edmonton that They're bringing it back as their new official alternate third jersey starting next season when they move into their new arena. And hats off to you Oilers fans out there for getting a new arena. It's nice to hear. You guys deserve it. And speaking of the Oilers, they're playing in the Heritage Classic next season in Winnipeg against the Jets. And according to Jets owner Mark Chipman, both teams aren't going to be wearing anything new. So the Oilers already have gone back to their 80s jerseys, which I think are awesome, for their main jerseys. Plus they have this WHA third jersey starting next season. So pretty much what the Oilers are doing is bringing back the white version of that orange jersey that they brought back this season. And that'll look good on the ice. And Winnipeg is also bringing a WHA throwback for the Heritage Classic. And I hope it's the logo with the circle that says Jets and then Winnipeg underneath with the little circle inside it with a jet. And not the logo of a skating player that says Jets on the front. I hate that logo. I don't understand a team called the Jets having a picture of a guy skating over an actual jet. Anyways, and speaking of teams that wear orange, there's a reason why I'm going to continue looking at this Flyers jersey. Because the Flyers have recently unveiled a sneak peek of a special 50th anniversary jersey. Now, according to the photo, what it looks like to me is that it'll be a white version of this orange jersey you see here that the Flyers wore throughout the 1980s, the 1990s, and for half of the 2000s. So, if that's the jersey they bring back, I think that would be nice. I mean, the thing is, it's a 50th anniversary jersey. I mean, I'd like to think that after 50 years, they would be wearing a throwback. Now, after 50 years, it would be easy to assume that the Flyers are going to wear their white 80s and 90s throwback, especially because the jersey shown has orange on top of the shoulders. So that would make the most sense. However, there is a chance it could be something new, but when I think 50th anniversary, I think throwback. So that's probably what we're going to see. But as I've said, until it's unveiled, I could very well be wrong. Now, let's also talk about another team that is planning on a special 50th anniversary jersey. And that team is the Los Angeles Kings. Now, when you think 50 years for the Kings, you would think, hey, are they going to bring back another form blue and gold throwback? Or, well, as most of us would say, purple and gold throwback. But they've already recently worn their purple throwback for a few years. Now they wear their gold throwback, which is beautiful. Could they be bringing their early 80s version of those jerseys back? Or could they even be going back to their Gretzky-era jerseys for a throwback? I think that would be the best choice, especially because they already wear their gold throwback. But, supposedly, according to some rumors, the Los Angeles Kings have something else up their sleeves entirely. And it actually sounds like the Kings' 50th anniversary jersey will be a gray version of their current home and road jerseys, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, you guys, this is your 50th anniversary. You should wear a throwback. The Los Angeles Kings have had a lot of jerseys in their history. I think they should bring one out of the vault, not something new. Besides, they recently wore a gray Stadium Series jersey, and they also had a half gray, half white Stadium Series jersey at Levi's Stadium last year. I don't get this. I don't get the decision making there. I think they're more focused on new merchandise than a nice throwback. It's kind of frustrating. But I hear that maybe instead of just making a gray version of their current home and road jerseys, it could be a gray version of their Gretzky-era jerseys too, which, that would be okay. I could live with that for a season. Even though I still think they should be wearing a throwback. But the thing is, I also hear that it may not be their LA Shield logo on the front. It could just be their current modern crown on the front. That would be an improvement in my opinion. And if it was a nice enough jersey, I think it actually wouldn't be a bad third jersey. I mean, Los Angeles would look good with a third jersey in my opinion. I think it would be cool to see a team with a gray alternate because it hasn't been done. So, if they do that, it's fine, but in a perfect world, I would have the Kings wearing their black Wayne Gretzky era throwback for 50 years. I mean, when I think 50 years, I think a throwback, not something new. So I'm kind of disappointed. And speaking of 50 years, the St. Louis Blues also have plans to ditch their longtime third jersey, which I think is a shame. For a third jersey, St. Louis has a very nice third jersey. I don't care for the roundel, and it's kind of boring compared to their main home and road jerseys now that they've fixed them. And, you know, if they get rid of their current third for a throwback jersey from the 60s, I would be okay with it. But the thing is, they're also playing it in a Winter Classic game next season against Chicago. Yeah, the Blackhawks are in another outdoor game. I mean, this is getting kind of ridiculous. I mean, sorry Blackhawk fans, but I think other teams should have an opportunity to step outdoors for a game. Seriously. And, you know, I'm just not sure what to think. I mean, could the Blues come up with something completely new for a third jersey? Yes. And will they have a throwback for their Winter Classic? Very likely, yes. Maybe a faux back, but I highly doubt it. I mean, St. Louis has a long jersey history, so I'd like to think that a throwback is coming. So we'll see. Personally, I would have preferred if St. Louis would have kept their navy blue third jersey for one more season and then replace that with the Winter Classic jersey they're going to wear against Chicago. Because for their 50th anniversary, I would like to assume that St. Louis is probably going to have a very nice throwback or faux back jersey for the Winter Classic. So I guess until we see what happens with their new third jersey next season, I think it'll be a case of wait and see. But anyway, moving on. And speaking of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, these two teams here, they're playing in a Stadium Series game next season. And I guess that means 2 new jerseys for both teams as well, and I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, it's the 100th anniversary of the NHL, and these guys are probably going to wear some futuristic jerseys that are boring or very ugly. And seriously, the Stadium Series does not have a good track record, at least in my opinion. I mean, this past season's Stadium Series jerseys are the best jerseys that they've had since they've began the Stadium Series, but for the 100th anniversary, I think it would be nice if both teams either had a throwback or a faux back, which is a jersey that's meant to look like a throwback, but it isn't. So also, a couple other teams celebrating anniversaries, Ottawa and Tampa Bay, both turn 25 years old next season, which makes me feel real old. And I hear that Tampa Bay was considering a throwback, but I haven't heard any actual news since I heard the first rumor, and odds are they're not doing a throwback next season, probably just a special patch, whatever. If there's a team that could use a new uniform right now, it's Tampa Bay, and I think a throwback would do them a lot of good. That's just my opinion. And as for Ottawa, they already have a throwback, well, a faux back third jersey, plus they wore a special faux back heritage jersey, which was a beige version of their current third jersey, which I wish they would bring that jersey back. But since Ottawa's also celebrating 100 years since the original Ottawa Senators as well, I would not be surprised if Ottawa had some type of special anniversary jersey or a special anniversary outdoor Heritage Classic game of some kind. But until that news surfaces, it's too early to say what is going on. So, oh yes, also speaking of Toronto, they will be playing in a Centennial Classic against Detroit, which will be an outdoor rematch. So we'll probably see one of the 5 throwbacks they're wearing next season for that game. That's most likely what'll happen. So, well, actually, I should say that is what is happening. Because, I mean, a Centennial Classic to celebrate 100 years in the NHL. If you're wearing something new, in my opinion, I think that would just be ridiculous. I mean, when you're celebrating 100 years, I think you should do a throwback jersey for each team after 100 years. And honestly, I'm kind of hoping that Detroit brings back the throwback they wore back in the 91-92 season when they celebrated 75 years in the NHL. So we'll see what happens there. Also, here's that 50th anniversary throwback logo I was talking about with Pittsburgh earlier. Notice the yellow gold instead of the Vegas gold. So odds are that seals the deal for them going back to their vintage jerseys. Looks like I've covered all of my bases here. Okay. So that's it for this video. And that's all of the information that we know so far of the NHL's jersey changes and special jerseys coming in for the 2016-17 season, which will also commemorate the 100th anniversary of the National Hockey League. I mean, that'll be real exciting. Now, finally, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and remember, until these teams officially unveil their new jerseys for the 2016-17 season, so far, it's all just rumors and speculation, and there is a chance that I could be wrong, so please do keep that in mind. And until I post another video, take care and bye for now.